Mike, turn your games down.
Time for a mini episode of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who is stuck in a Smash clone with me tonight?
It's your acid flip boy, Julian Titus here, really phoning it in, just like Capcom did back in 2003.
And where can people find you at?
I'm the host of the Stage Select. I think it's one of the best video game podcasts out there, but I think most people disagree, so you can check us out or not.
And you are here to talk, and we're here to talk about Onimusha Blade Warriors, developed by Capcom, published by Capcom, came out in 2003. Part of the Onimusha series, technically, sort of.
Yeah, let's just say that I was not expecting to cover this. I thought Mike was joking when he said we were going to do this one. I thought we would not be reconvening until Onimusha Tactic, and that I was looking forward to. But he was serious about covering Onimusha Blade Warriors, and so here we are.
I wanted to cover the whole series, and this game, like, for some weird reason, doesn't have much on YouTube even. I don't know why. I know exactly why. So, I play a lot of games for this podcast. This is the first Smash Fighter clone I think we've done ever on the podcast.
Yeah, well, there's not that many, or at least there are now. Like, there's a lot of like indie Smash clones that have come out in the last few years, and of course there's like kind of some high profile ones that came out like just in the last like 5 or 6 years, like the Nickelodeon ones, and obviously the now defunct Warner Brothers one.
Is that one already defunct?
Oh yeah, it's dead. Multiverse
just came out.
Ended officially. No, yeah. Came out twice, Mike.
Yeah, I know.
They tried to tell us that the first time it came out was a beta test, but they said full release. I remember. They can't gaslight me. But no, it's funny because I don't know what the median age of your audience is. I figure they're probably younger because you're younger and most of your guests are younger than me. But the joke used to be that if you had like a good franchise, like a hit franchise, what you would do is you would release like 2 or 3 games, and then you would have the kart racer, and that would be like the thing. And then for a little bit there, it was like the kart racer and or the board game, like the Mario Party style game.
Yes.
But for whatever reason, on the PlayStation 2, Capcom decided platform fighter, because they did this for Onimusha and they did it for Beautiful Joe. And I don't know why. And this one feels so low effort because it's literally just they just took the character models from the first 2 games. And then they put them on a pseudo side-scrolling thing. The level design is really weird. It's very disorienting. And then just gave them all the same moveset and called it a day.
Yep.
Okay, sure.
And I
charged $50 for it, by the way. This was a full price game back in the day.
Okay, this should have been a $20 release.
No, this was as much as a regular Onimusha game. And it's funny because like I was like, I know I haven't played this game, but I have this dim recollection of seeing it on our demo screens at my store, Game Fellas, and I was like, but this must have come out after Game Fellas, because if it came out while I was working there, I would have played it. But no, this came out while I was working at Game Fellas. It was actually at the height of Game Fellas' popularity. And I think it looked so lackluster to me that even though I could play it for free in my store, I never touched it. because this was the first time that I picked it up, and I was right to do so.
So I don't like platform fighters usually. I don't even really care for Smash that much. I haven't played one in probably a decade. For some strange reason, I ended up beating this game with in the story mode with all the characters on beginner and easy, and I had a good time. And this is not a good game. Like, I will say that right now. Like, this is a bare bones platform fighter that feels out of place in this series. The story modes are just nonsense. They have a couple cutscenes in the beginning, middle, and end.
So I did not play this game very much. I went through the tutorial to figure out how to play it, and then I started a story mode, and then I went through the story mode, and then I was like, okay, that was Samanosuke. Let me try this one character on the roster who is just, I guess, the one original thing that they did for the game. Like, they made this, like, extra character for this game specifically. So I guess they put in a little work there. Like, look, I don't like to throw around the word, like, lazy game design or game development because, like, I know it takes a lot of work to make video games. But this is about as lazy as you can get from, like a big publisher, big developer, because like I said, it's just almost 100% reused assets, and then they just kind of like even the controls are pretty much the same as Onimusha, which doesn't map really well to a fighting game.
No, it's strange that they did that.
But then I started my second run through the story with this new guy, and it was the same cutscene. I was like, okay, clearly I don't need to see any more because it's just going to be the exact same experience. Am I wrong, or did I actually miss out on some like originality? Because it's still so I gotta say the first cutscene made me laugh out loud because all it is Samanosuke walking up and saying that he has to find Nobunaga and stop him, and then Kaede from the first game is there and she says, yes, I am also here to stop Nobunaga, and then she goes in the opposite direction, and I lost my shit because that shit was fucking hilarious. And I don't think that was the intention.
It wasn't. And they don't know each other pretty much. I'm like, you guys had because this technically, like, this game has no relevance to any of the Onimusha series. It's a strange, just weird ass, makes no sense. But no, all the stories are pretty much the same, but there are a few differences.
Okay.
As you play through, the mid-boss changes, and if you play as one of the demons, you don't fight demons, you fight human characters, and your bosses are different playable characters.
Okay, that makes sense. I did intend to, I meant to play it. I was you pick like just the basic zombie because I was like that'd be silly, but then I just continued to play the 100-line Last Defense Academy because that game has consumed me. But yeah, and it's weird because like so when you play as Samanosuke, like his mid boss is Gogen Dantes from Onimusha 2, and so he alludes to having fought Jubei. So I would assume that this takes place after 2, but again, Kaede doesn't seem to know Samanosuke, or I don't know.
No, they don't know each other. Nobody, like, it could have worked. Like, you could have fit this in somehow and made it, like, take one story, make it canon, and put something in there. But no, nothing is canon. Nothing matters. It's just bullshit story, but you do fight some different mid-bosses. The final boss for the demons is either Samanosuke or Jubei.
Okay.
And then whenever you kill one, it has that skeleton guy from the first game. The scientist said, "Oh, you didn't kill the other one," and then that's it. And I'm like, I don't understand. It's not good. Like, I don't know what it was that made me play this game all the way through with every character, but like my worst problem with this game is the loading time is unbearable slow.
Yeah, especially considering like how relatively short the stages are, and then if like me you get to the last boss Nobunaga and find him to be one of the bullshittiest bullshit last bosses in a fighting game that you've encountered in a while, mainly because the level itself is designed to kill you, but he's immune to all of its traps, so you're constantly taking damage and he's just fine. And also the enemies can absorb souls faster than you, so if some life souls do come out, he'll get them probably before you do. It's some old bullshit, but I don't remember where I was going with that. Now I'm just really mad about bullshit. Fucking that level.
No, the Nobunaga one. So I played this game on beginner, and I also messed around with easy. There is a big difficulty difference between beginner and easy. Like, this game hurt me on easy.
Oh, okay.
And I went back to beginner.
I didn't have too much trouble, except for like it was kind of funny. I had a lot of trouble with Jujudora, who was the ugly lady with the fan that gave me a lot of trouble in Onimusha 2 when we played that, and I was like, "Don't, man, god damn it!" Like there, and again, it's because they just took the actual character with like the same logic and just like dumped it in here. And it's interesting because like most of the levels are just you fighting a bunch of grunts, and then occasionally you'll fight what I would call like a named one. And what I mean by that is that they'll have like an actual like life bar with a portrait, because they're actually one of the characters that you can select, and they'll give you a little bit more challenge. But then occasionally, like, you know, when you fight like a mid boss or something like that, you'll like when you fight Gogen Dantes, it's 1-on-1. And then it starts to feel like an actual fighting game. And I'm like, okay, like I can kind of see how this kind of works if I squint, but then it just doesn't. But those leaps in difficulty where it turns into an actual fighting game are pretty drastic, like unnormal.
Yeah, okay. I didn't mess with normal because I just didn't want the challenge. That's not what I play games for. For some reason, the monotonous of just killing monsters for zero reason connected with me, and I don't have an answer why. I mean, sometimes I like that, and as you progress through some of the levels, they do switch it up a little bit. You do fight monsters that will be just like a regular monster, like the Gator guys, for example, and they'll have a lot more health than normal, and they'll be smarter. They'll use items against you. They'll steal orbs from you. Like they'll actually be smart enemies. And I don't know. And you can also unlock weapons in this game too as you play through. Like the idea is you're supposed to play through the story mode with a character over and over again, and then they level up, they get new weapons, they unlock items and they get different stuff, and you can upgrade their stats. Like that's how you're supposed to play this game. I don't know who the fuck is doing that. If anyone ever did.
Mean, that speaks to how robust single player modes used to be in fighting games, and so I do appreciate that because, as I said on the Street Fighter Alpha episode, there was a time when I would like play fighting games a lot with my cousin, and that's where I got the multiplayer in. But then I would play I would play a shit ton of fighting games by myself at home because they had like really great single player modes, right? Like I was thinking the other day, because I think, I know why. It's because everybody's talking about Soul Calibur 2 on the GameCube because of the Switch 2 launch. But I'm like, yeah, but Soul Edge or Soul Blade was where it was at as far as like the single player mode. Like the Edge Master mode in that game was like really great with all the stuff that you could unlock. So I appreciate that. And I can see where that was the thing, right? Because you get these victory souls throughout like the entire story mode, and then at the end of the story mode, I forget his name now, but the guy that takes you to the dark world that hangs upside down and is like wrapped in a cocoon.
Yes,
he'll come in and you can buy stuff from him, but like the only weapon available for Samanosuke was Excalibur, and it was like I think like 150 of those, and I had like 37, and I was like, oh, I see what's going on here.
I see.
And that would be fine if the game was fun or felt good to play as a fighting game. Like if, again, because like Soul Edge, right? Like I'm sorry, Soul Blade. That's
never
what the
played
PlayStation version is called.
That game, actually.
Oh man, yeah. I played the shit out of that game because it was fun to play. And also, I think every character had like 10 weapons to unlock. So it was a lot of going through Edge Master mode, but that was like the fun of it. Like that was the meat of the game. And I think I put in like, because that game actually did have a timer on it. I had like over 70 hours on that game just by myself.
It's really good for a fighter.
Yeah.
Oh, and this game also has that, forget the name of the Dark Realm is also in here. I never saw it, but it's also in this game too.
Okay. Yeah.
It would be all the mountains.
I thought it was strange because when he came down, I was like, oh, is he going to take me to the Dark Realm? That's where the game starts. It's like, oh, no, he doesn't. But I'm glad that
it's in there somewhere. I never accessed it. I never saw it. I didn't really mess with the menu. Like I didn't even know you could buy items until you just told me. So.
I figured that's how you were unlocking the weapons, because
I didn't unlock any weapons. I just knew you could.
Oh, okay, right. I was wondering. Okay, yeah, because I was like, there's got to be a different way to unlock weapons than just this, and maybe it's in the Dark Realm. But
I never did because I only played as one. I played through one character, beat it, move on. So I didn't think much about it. I just watched a YouTube video after I finished this game actually like yesterday that kind of talked about how you could get different weapons in the Dark Realm, and he kind of mentioned some stuff that I didn't catch. No, this game is bare bones.
That there's characters to unlock as well.
There's a bunch.
Okay, it seemed like it from the character select screen, but
there are two that aren't from Onimusha, but the rest are from Onimusha. Mega Man is in this game, but Mega Man from Battle Network and Zero is in this game.
Okay, that explains. Like, I thought it was actually an ad for Mega Man Battle Network when I beat the game, and I was like, that's obnoxious. But if he's in the game, that makes a lot more sense.
He's in the game.
Maybe that was the clue that he's supposed to be in the game. I thought it was an ad.
That's fair. They did do that at this time. No, he's actually playable, and he looks goofy as fuck because he's Mega Man, and Mega Man does not fit in this world.
But that at least has some personality to it, right? Like I think that's one of the big things, because like I'm not a huge Smash player or Smash fan, but I do appreciate the charm of it and the mashing together of all of these different series, especially as it's gotten crazier and crazier, the most recent one. But here it's like, look, I love Onimusha, right? But like these characters aren't they're not fighting game cool.
No.
No, I take that back. I was thinking about this after I finished it because I was like, you know what? Capcom never made an answer to Tekken, Virtua Fighter, Dead or Alive, or Soul Calibur. Like, they never had a 3D fighting game of that ilk. And Onimusha could have been that. They could have made a really cool 3D
100%.
weapon fighter out of Onimusha, but that would have had to have been a much bigger project than what this is.
Well, this is just like you said in the opening, this is just asset flipping. Like, they really just took the assets from Onimusha 1 and 2, put them together, and like, I'm with you. I don't like to say, lazy development, but this feels like this wasn't anyone's actual idea, but somebody at Capcom went, hey, we can make money and just reuse what we already have.
Yeah.
And there's no way this game should have been $50 at release. This is like a $30, like, there were $20 releases too. I remember that back then.
There were,
like,
but this wasn't one of them.
This is not worth.
I guess I should hedge my bets. It might have been a $40 one. I know, I have a pretty good memory from this time period, and I know it wasn't a budget game. It absolutely was not that, because that would have been more memorable for Capcom to release, something at like a $20 or $30 price point. So people can look it up and correct me, but my memory is that this was, a full price ass PlayStation 2 game.
I'm sure it was, because I have Onimusha 1 and 2 on PS2, and I never picked this one up. And I would have bought this for dirt cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to go to EB Games every single week.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of the ones that ends up like being worth money, though, because it probably didn't have the print run that the first 3 games did. I haven't looked it up, but that wouldn't shock me.
I'm looking it up now, because I'm curious. You were not wrong. Somebody's selling it for $91 because it's new. It's sealed.
Okay. Yeah.
Otherwise, $20. No, that's the
all right.
Japanese version.
Not as bad as I would have thought.
No, 35.
Okay. Yeah,
that's
like
35,
kind of
40.
Standard-ish at this point for your average PS2 game. So that's okay. But give it some time. I could see that happening.
Who the fuck is paying $40 for this?
Collectors.
Okay, I'm not a collector. So. I'm a digital collector, I feel like, at this point, where I just collect Steam keys for my games, apparently. But I don't pay $40 usually for them. I pay like $2 to $5.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't mind. I get that dopamine hit, like, oh, I bought some games that I'll never play. Awesome, but they're there if I want them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I feel. I mean, I had fun with this game, even though, like, it's stupid. I don't know what it was. There's just something about me, like, where I just kept playing this. And I played this game for, it said 2 hours of actual gameplay, but that only counts the fights. So you also got to tack on about 3 hours of loading times in there.
Right.
So probably about a 5-hour game.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, it's still got some of the, because it's just directly ripped from Onimusha 1 and 2, it's got those satisfying sword slash sound effects and the death sounds of the enemies. And, like, when you get one of the Ishin attacks to pull off, like, that always, that never is not, like, a really awesome thing, just visually and, like, the in-the-moment feel of it. I think I admire what they attempted to do with the environments for a platform fighter, because it's much more 3D than most of these games, where, like, there's certain levels where they're actually, like, at the corner of a building and you're moving, from one side of the building to the other. The problem is it doesn't really work too well when you're trying to move up and down the platforms.
No, it doesn't. I mean, and you are right, like, to go back to your earlier comment, like, you couldn't make an awesome weapon fighter with these characters and just make it a fighting game, not remap the buttons a little bit. I mean, mostly this is just Onimusha's control scheme, but a little different.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, right? So, like, Smash Brothers was really smart, even in the first game, where they're like, because of the chaotic nature of this fighting game, we're going to make the moves very simplified, where it's, up and A, forward and A, all that stuff, right? Onimusha Blade Warriors has this, like, everybody has the same 2 moves as far as I can tell.
They do.
Because, like, I saw the other enemies doing the same moves, which is, oddly enough, they're named Hadoken and Shoryuken, but that's not what they are. But to do the Hadoken, you have to hold down the weapon button, which is the worst mechanic from the series. I don't know. I wish that they hadn't incorporated that into this one. But you have to charge your weapon and then press forward and let go of the button to do, like, a blade wave.
Oh,
and then it's up an attack for your rising sword attack that they call the Shoryuken. I know it's Capcom, but I still take umbrage at the fact that they use those names for moves that don't do the things.
Yeah, no, that's
in Street Fighter.
I don't know why they're doing that.
But that's it. So there's nothing to really differentiate the characters.
No.
And also the execution of those moves. Well, obviously the up and attack one, that's fine. But I wish they at least had 4 special moves each, and that they were unique to the characters.
Yeah,
and
like
that they were just simple input.
And like what you said, what Smash does, and that could have worked, and that could have been fun with this, but they don't do that because that would have cost more time and money. And then the item pickups are just strange. Like you have random chests that will litter the stage, and you get different items, and it always felt out of place. Like when I would see them, it just didn't fit Onimusha.
They're straight busted sometimes too. Some of those items will really sway the battle one way or the other.
And they can be used against you too, just fine, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That was the thing that I was getting into with like when it does get a little bit more challenging. It's mainly because the CPU is just better at utilizing items, and also this also has the same like the magic system from the Onimusha games where certain souls that you absorb will give you access to one of the magic spell moves, and it's just like you just do like the R1 and triangle, and you'll pull one off just like you do in the main game. But they, as you can imagine, they do a lot of damage, and it really sucks when you're on the receiving end from the CPU.
No, that is fair. I mean, that's like when I did mess around with I just messed around with easy, but like I could feel different because like a beginner, it didn't take really any effort at all, and that was fine. That's all I didn't really want much effort. I just wanted a game where I hit buttons and enemies die. Yeah. Like I enjoyed seeing all my old Onimusha enemies again. I think that for me that was part of the charm and why I had a good time, because I enjoy this series. And I just enjoyed seeing the models again, even though like the game itself is not good.
Yeah, and I think I come at it from a different way. Is because I love this series so much and I love these characters. I just want to see them do more with it. Like I feel it really cheapens the feel of it, and it's like I mean. After playing Dawn of Dreams, I'm wondering, looking back, I'm like, was Onimusha always supposed to be campy and cheesy, and I just never saw it until Dawn of Dreams? Because like we talked with Dawn of Dreams, right? That first level is like a straight up like Super Sentai opening.
Cool as hell.
To a video game. It's cool, but like thematically, like it feels like out of place. But then I was like, no, maybe that's what this series always wanted to be, and I always thought of it as something more serious because of its origins as starting out as like a possible Resident Evil, offshoot, and then turning into what it was. But I don't know, man. They do some weird shit with it here, and it just I don't know, man. I wish that they had put more effort into it because I think it could have been cool, but it's just
To me, there's definitely a cool game in here, but it's missing a lot.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Like, I mean, it's cool the fact like if you're somebody like I could see this as some of like your only game that you have, and you're just like constantly, putting time into it because you have nothing else to play. Like it has stuff there. Unlocking the characters is not that simple. I unlocked a couple, but you need to like beat the game in hard difficulty. I'm not sure. I didn't read what else you have to do because I didn't give a shit. But like you can also level up your characters. Like there's 2 different verse modes. There's regular versus mode where you play as the default characters in the way they are, and then there's custom versus where you can play as your leveled up characters. So you can.
Which I do appreciate that. That's a nice bit that they took from Street Fighter Alpha 3 World Tour mode on the PlayStation 1.
I mean, there's some like cool stuff here. It's just like it really does reek of corporate greed. And I mean, I'm assuming this game didn't sell well.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing too, is because like my memory is that Onimusha sold fine, but not like stellar. So it was a weird thing to try to do, a quote unquote cash grab of.
But if you already have all the assets, like the levels,
I guess so.
Feel pretty much reused
right.
too.
This was definitely the time period where games were still cheap enough to make, especially if you already had, all of the assets done, that you could still turn a profit pretty well, because games were selling well, not as well as they do now, but they were selling well, and the barrier to entry, financially was a lot lower. So you could do dumb stuff like this. That that is one of the things that I think is often when people complain about, like games aren't as cool as they used to be. It's like, well, no, they are. It's just that you're not seeing as much weird stuff come from the main developers and publishers, where that stuff is now more, in the indie set.
Yeah, because they have to make millions upon millions of sales in order to make it worth their while.
Right.
So
it's
hard.
I looked it up just now. I couldn't, Google sucks now, but I think this was also supported. I think this does support up to 4 players in multiplayer. So at least they got that part of it right. Cause I was thinking like, oh, if this is only 1-on-1, like that also misses the mark of what this, what a platform fighter is trying to be, which is just, organized chaos. But it from what I could tell, it does seem to support 4 players.
That's what I was seeing from the YouTube I was watching. And also you can also like put in other memory cards and load up their characters too.
Yeah. But again,
I
think the thing that made Smash Brothers work so well in those first 2 iterations in particular is that they were on machines that had 4 controller ports built in, where here you would also have to have a multi-tap. So like that's also a big ask for people on the PS2 back then.
I don't think most people had a
No.
I actually had a PS multi-tap, but most people don't.
Yeah.
I don't remember where I got it from. I think I bought it off a friend when he was selling all his stuff. Because I think he had it for a wrestling game.
I do own one because I was playing Champions of Norath with my friend and her sister. And so I was like, okay, well, if your sister wants to play, then I'll get a multi-tap. So I got it specifically for Champions of Norath, which is one of the best action RPGs I've ever played. It's on my short list of series that I wish would get a remaster, but I have no idea who even owns EverQuest at this point. So I don't think that it's ever going to be a possibility of it coming back.
Oh, it's EverQuest? Then no, it's probably locked. But who knows how many people bought that stuff or parts at some point?
Yeah.
So I mean, rights are crazy. The way rights and the way companies sell and trade IP and then do nothing with it. So
for sure.
No, I didn't realize that was an EverQuest. Yeah. I've always wanted to play Champions of Norath, but I never got around to any of those games. But maybe I'll change that because I'm still going for my 100 games this year. That's another reason why this ended up on the list. I'm trying to beat 100 games. So
there you go. It has not been a good year for completing games for me. Like, so my podcast, we do a pretty big Game of the Year series that's really modeled quite closely after the classic Giant Bomb format of doing like the deliberations and everything. And, obviously need to be able to have a lot of games finished to be able to talk about them at the end of the year. And like so far this year, I've finished 3 2025 releases. We're like, halfway through the year at this point. I've started quite a bit more than that, but I just haven't been getting them done.
But you did beat Onimusha 4, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League.
Yeah.
You get to play Onimusha Blade Warriors? Come on now. How lucky are you? Hey, I gave you an excuse to play a game you never would have touched in your life.
Yeah.
I wish I never did.
I guess I was thinking about this. This is as good a place to throw it in as any. Mike, I didn't realize this when they unveiled Onimusha Way of the I think it's Way of the Blade, the new one.
Okay.
They didn't learn their lesson, Mike.
What they did.
The character model for Miyamoto Musashi is using the likeness of a dead Japanese actor. So
why?
So probably buy that game when it comes out to make sure that you own it. Because it may not come around again for a long time after that, unless they, made the deal in perpetuity or something. Like maybe they made a smarter likeness rights deal this time. But I was shocked to see that.
I mean, you think they would have? I mean, that's why Onimusha 1 and 2 took forever to come out, and I don't see 3 coming out.
Yeah, I thought for sure that they would have just gone with like either a like just a complete, because like most of the, as far as I know, I could be wrong about this, but I think a lot of the RE Engine game, they're not using, like they're not basing the character designs off of like real people. They're just kind of modeling them. I could be wrong about that, but if they are, it's not like, it's more of like a modern mocap type thing where it's like, so for example, there is a model that Aloy from the Horizon games is based off of, but it's not like she's not a celebrity, right? She's just like her likeness is that character and it's part of the deal. So it's not like it wouldn't be an issue down the road.
Ashley Graham in RE4 Remake is a model or something because I've seen her on Instagram and stuff.
Okay, so they are doing it that way.
But it's not
again, like it's not them taking like a celebrity or something like that and throwing their face in there.
I mean,
you know,
she's kind of a celebrity, but not like an actress or somebody as really well known. I'm not sure. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's probably easier to be like, okay, we can make this character, and you're not gonna come back at us with rights issues when we try to re-release.
I think those deals are different than when it's an actual actor's face. So like, I would be curious to see what happens. I mean, if I live this long, like 20, 30 years down the road with Death Stranding 1, for example, right? Like, does that game get lost to time because, like, whatever Kojima Productions becomes after Kojima dies, like, can't secure the likeness rights anymore, and they're just like, well, yeah, we can't do anything with this. Like, if you own it, great, because it's not coming back. That type of thing. It's hard to say.
Hopefully, whenever they're signing these deals, knowing that games keep coming back, that they're signing better contracts. Where like you just get royalty, like how TV does it, where they don't go, oh, we can't release the show anymore. We didn't renew the contract, like that, because video games were like, what I guess just churn and burn type material, and they didn't care. They didn't think like, oh, nobody's gonna want to play this again in 20 years.
Right?
Well, people do.
Yeah. Now they're more evergreen, and for lack of a better term, but and I would hope that would be the case. But like, you still see issues even with like TV and film where it's like, oh yeah, we can't. We can't release this on Blu-ray because of the music rights, and it's like,
music is
why is this
bad.
still a problem?
Because music producers and companies are greedy as hell and have a monopoly.
Yeah, but but you would hope that like with stuff like that's more modern, like they would be making modern
better deals,
but it doesn't really seem to be that, because like a good example for me is Alan Wake 1, like one of the big reasons that the barrier of that coming back was all the licensed music. And it was very notable to me that Alan Wake 2 still uses like music to very good effect, but it's all original music for Alan Wake 2. Even though they brought Poe back, she's singing music that they made for Alan Wake 2. She's not singing her own music, which I thought was a very crucial difference between those two games. It's like, they still did the same thing to the same effect, but it's like, but this is stuff that Remedy owns, so we're good.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about all the stupid rights issues. And
yeah,
I was thinking about that Alan Wake also, because that game was gone for a while on the internet. Like,
yeah, it was.
I mean, this game is never. Well, I mean, almost none. I mean, until recently, none of the Onimushas were re-released. Like, I mean, I wouldn't mind this game existing in like a collection of them. It's never going to happen.
Yeah, this is probably the only other one that I could. Well, no, I guess I could see Dawn of Dreams getting brought back, but the only reason probably is because it was the least popular of them. But that one also seemed, it's the most modern of them. Like, I think, well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they would want to do like a full-on remake of that. It's hard to say, but obviously, with Jean Reno and that's kind of
we ain't getting 3
for 3. But this one, yeah, if they already did 1 and 2, like, yeah, it would have been cool to just like, yeah, let's do a quick and dirty remaster of this one and throw it in there too, right?
Yeah, just call it like sell it for $20 and put it out there.
Yeah,
not 80, because nobody would buy this. Nobody should buy this shit for 80. My God, I don't care if it was remastered or not. No, I mean, I didn't mind the price that I paid for it, free, because I downloaded an old ROM. But like, my God, I think 35 is too much for this game too. If somebody's buying this off eBay, like, don't do that.
Yeah, at that point, you're just doing it because you want to have like either a full PS2 set of games, or you want all of the Onimusha games on disc.
I mean, I want them all on a podcast, I found out.
Well, you got them now.
Almost. We're missing tactics, and we're missing the anime.
There's an anime? Oh!
Yeah, there's an anime of this now. Like a 6-episode series or something.
Okay, yeah. I remember hearing that there was that they announced it, and then I never heard anything about it. I don't have Netflix, so...
Oh, okay. Yeah, it came out, had 8 episodes... I remember hearing a little bit about it, but not a lot. But yeah, it came out in 2023, so 2 years ago.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's been the interesting thing to me. Like, as we've been doing this series for games my mom found, but also just kind of evaluating the series, because back in retail, it felt like the franchise was more popular than it probably was, probably because of our clientele. Because we sold a good chunk of Onimusha games at my store. But I think part of that was that we had a pretty hardcore audience, and then also our enthusiasm for those games. Like, we pushed them quite a bit for people looking for cool action games.
They are cool
but
games.
I thought it was interesting that when they did finally do Onimusha 1 HD, it tanked. And I thought, okay, so that's it. This series is officially dead. And then I was completely shocked when they announced not only that Onimusha 2 was going to get an HD remaster, but a brand new game. And I think that I really think that only speaks to the fact that Capcom has been so ridiculously successful for about the last like 8 years that it's allowed them to do what they used to do back in the day, which is take chances on things, because Capcom has a history of like turning like making gold out of failure because people may not remember Mega Man 1 didn't sell that well. Mega Man 2 phenomenon,
Yes.
right? Street Fighter 1
Garbage.
it had its fans in the arcade. Street Fighter 2 phenomenon, right? And now they have this ability to like they're making so much money, and they've even turned franchises like Monster Hunter, which used to only be like like that was a thing that was only popular in Japan, and now it's like a worldwide like smash hit, right? So I think it's given them the opportunity and the leeway to be like, you know what? Let's go reevaluate some of this old stuff that we've got in the vault and see what we can turn into some, it's sort of like the old tagline for reruns on TGIF. If you haven't seen it, it's new to you, right? Like if you haven't played it, it's new to you. So like, there's going to be like, it's now like 2 or 3 generations of gamers who this Onimusha game is coming out next year that they've never even touched an Onimusha game or maybe even heard of an Onimusha game, but it's going to be like, whoa, what is this cool looking action game from Capcom? Because I know Capcom now, and hopefully it has a much bigger success than it ever did in the past. That's my hope anyway. It's looking
I am
hot.
hopeful too. I want to see the new one do really good because I'd like to see the series come back and us have entries again.
Yes.
Because it looks badass. Also, some of like the secret characters in this game, I was looking them up, I didn't see them, but you get a younger version of that demon creature with the umbrella.
Okay.
Juju Ran. I guess it says a younger and more attractive version of Judo Rama. And then you get Musashi Miyamoto, the best known swordmaster. He's in this game.
Oh, that's interesting because he's the main character of the upcoming game.
Yeah. So yeah, he was a secret character in this game too. I didn't unlock him. Pretty much, I think everybody you fight as bosses also is unlockable characters too.
That makes sense. It's also, but yeah, it's cool that Mega Man is in there, even though it's just Mega Man from Battle Network, which, but it's cool that that's in there. But like, I was thinking about if they turned this, if they had made a full on 3D weapon fighter, it's like, oh yeah, like you throw in like Dante and Virgil from Devil May Cry in there, and like you get some weird Capcom picks in there, like you could have done some really,
you could do a really good game.
Yeah.
And fighters were big around this time, weren't they, in the PS2 era again? Or were they just starting
to still were. Like, they were on the downward slope at this point, but you still had fighting games coming out at a pretty decent clip. I think right as the 360 starts is like around 2005 is kind of almost like a hard cutoff where, I mean, because fighting games were always coming out, but there was definitely like that moment where it felt like, oh, fighting games are pretty much done except for like the hardest of the hardcore people. And then of course like Mortal Kombat continued to come out because Mortal Kombat is like on a different level as far as sales go than everything else.
Yeah.
But really, like right around here, like 2002, 2003, like there was still enough of like you were still getting away with having like the same company have multiple fighting games on the market, right? Like I think there's talk these days about like, well, could Capcom even make like a Darkstalkers or bring back like Project or Rival Schools or something like this, right? Because they have Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's funny to talk like that because it used to be that, yeah, like, Capcom had like 5 or 6 fighters on the market, and then SNK had 5 or 6 fighters on the market, and people just bought them all and played them all. But nowadays it's like, especially with tournament scenes and the way that fighting games make their money now with like seasonal character releases, you kind of can only support like 1, maybe 2 of those at a time, right? So I kind of get it. But yeah, but back then, yeah, I think it would have been cool to see Capcom try to take a stab, pun intended, at like Soul Calibur and Tekken.
I never thought about it until you talked about it earlier in this episode, and I'm like, yeah, I kind of want that. Like, that would have been cool, and that would have been a good game that we could be talking about right now instead of this, whatever the hell this thing is. So
yeah,
but there was a phase.
Now they could do that now, and I'd be into it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, hey, maybe we'll see more Onimushas. Like, I would love to see all of them be around for people to enjoy again. Like, I'm happy that 2 because 2 already came out, I think, right?
Yes, that just came out like maybe a month or 2 ago.
Okay, like stuff like that makes me happy. I'm hopeful we get 4. I don't expect 3, but I'm hopeful for 4 gets re-released for people.
Yeah,
I mean, get stuff more excited for the remake, or not the remake, but the new one, so that way it sells good and we get more.
Yeah.
Because I'm with you. I might have to buy that earlier than later when I see a sale because I might not get another chance.
And I'm super excited for it. Apparently, people have already gotten hands on it, and then it's supposed to be playable again at Gamescom late in the summer. So it could be nice to have like hopefully like some video previews and stuff going up of the game. But so far, like word has been good. So I'm excited. It seems like they're trying to go in the direction of a Souls-like, but the footage that they showed at not E3 this year still seemed like a lot more faster paced type of game than you would expect from a From Software game. So I'm really curious to see how that works. It could be a thing where you're mowing down most of your regular zombies just like you do in all the other games, but then when you get to a mid boss or something like that, it's like a fucking fight like in a Dark Souls game or something like that. I could be into that.
I'm curious to see what they do. I definitely am.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have anything else you want to say about this game, or should we go to Shelf Stacker Box?
No.
Hey, we did pretty good. I mean, again, I need more Onimusha content. Like I wasn't kidding. I'm actually gonna do that anime. I was actually gonna ask you about that next.
I won't be able to join you for that because I don't
okay.
have a way to watch it, but I will listen.
I haven't heard anything about it, so I'm assuming who knows, but I'm just by doing all these Onimusha games with you, you really got me into Onimusha way more than I ever expected.
Well, good. Yeah, I think it's a cool series.
It is,
and I'm shocked that it's coming back before Dino Crisis, but I'm here for it.
I'm shocked it's coming back in general.
Yeah.
So, but I'm happy.
I mean, on a long enough timeline, almost everything will come back. But I really like if you told me to bet on, Onimusha or Dino Crisis, one is coming back. Which comes first? I would have said Dino Crisis. Like,
have you ever heard of this amazing RPG called Chrono Trigger that came out in the SNES that just disappeared off the face of the earth? You ever remember that game? So it's definitely always come back.
You can play it on it's on Steam.
I know, but I want my sequel. I mean, I got Chrono Cross, but I want my Chrono Break.
No, you really don't, Mike. I want you to think really hard about that.
I know whatever came out would be a disaster and not what I will never get with the masterpiece that I got. I know
they got rid of the best team to do it, which is the team that did Octopath Traveler 1 and 2. That's the team that you tap to do that, and they fucking flushed them down the toilet. So no, I do not trust Square Enix in the year of our Lord 2025 to make a competent sequel to Chrono Trigger.
I don't either.
Just let it stand alone as a singular game. You heard me right, as a singular game.
I replayed Cross a couple of years ago for this podcast and for episode 200, which we are way past, and I loved it.
Oh, it's a fantastic RPG. I just don't much care for it as a sequel to Chrono Trigger.
It's not really. It's very much its own thing.
Yeah, that's why I like. And the other thing about Chrono Trigger is that like it was like the whole point of it was, let's take the best from Square and the best from Enix and mash them together in a time when those companies were separate and see what they can do. And so it was like a dream team type of thing. And like, you can't, like, a lot of those guys are still around, but they're obviously like quite a bit older now. And there's not real, like, you would almost want it to be like, let's take the people that work on Persona and mash them with the people that work on something else and have them do it instead. You have to get it would have to be a different gimmick for that to work. And I just, my thing is, because you don't need a remake either. Like, don't remake.
I don't want a remake.
It's a perfect game. Just let it be.
All right, let's go to Shelf Stacker Box. I'm going to go first, and we'll get the more positive person out of the way. I'm putting it in the stack. I had a decent time. If this game wouldn't have had really slow loading times and I wasn't as busy as I've been, I might have actually messed with it more. But yeah, I actually had a decent time. Like, I was happy to knock this off my list and play a game that I never expected to play. So, and I'm glad I got the chance to experience it. Yeah, go in the stack. What about you, Julian?
Oh, it's going at the bottom of the box. It's not like, I should point, it's not a terrible game, but I'm more of a fighting game fan than you, even though I'm not like a huge platform fighter fan. But I just think that, like, when I think about what this game is setting out to do, I think it fails kind of spectacularly at that. And maybe if it was back in 2003 and I'm playing this on a couch with my cousin, that would be a different story, but he wasn't really playing these types. He wasn't a guy that would play Onimusha back at this time. He was starting to get out of video games by now, or by that point. So even then, it's like there wouldn't have been a hook for that to happen. And again, I think it's pretty telling for me back in 2003 that I had the opportunity to play this for free. Like
you did not.
Could like if there was a night where like I was closing and opening the next day, I could have just taken that disc home and played it overnight, or like a used copy, I could have like checked that out and played it. And I chose not to. Like I didn't even pick up the controller like just to like get my hands on it for a few minutes before the store opened. And I used to do that with almost every game. Like that's the thing about me during 1997 to 2005 is if a game came out in that time period, I probably had my hands on it even for a little bit. And I didn't have my hands on this one. So I think that says a lot.
That does. All right. And then at some point, you will hear us talk about the Onimusha anime, or at least me. And then at some point, you'll hear me and Julian talk about Onimusha Tactics next year. Some point next year. Because I'm really excited to replay that, actually. Because I played it once on my phone, and I loved it.
That's a good way of turning the series into a different genre. Like that's an excellent place for Onimusha. You could this, if man, getting angry again. If they wanted to asset flip, they could have turned this into like a turn-based RPG. I mean, obviously that would have been like way more work, but this was around the time frame of Mega Man X Command Mission, which is like a turn-based RPG for Mega Man X. So like that would have been like a cooler thing. Like I would have been on all over that. Even if it was just using the same character models from Onimusha 1 and 2, I would have been there day one for an Onimusha RPG. Because I was there day one for Onimusha Tactics.
Yeah, I was not, but I did download it on my GBA emulator in high school. My friend's like, why are you playing that? I'm like, because it's cool. And then I didn't beat it until years later. But all right, we should go to plugs. And Julian, where can we find you at?
You can find me on Blue Sky. Just search for Julian Titus. And you can find the Stage Select podcast anywhere that podcasts are found. Be sure to look for the Stage Select podcast.
And if you enjoyed this episode, over 800 other episodes of this podcast. We do movies, TV shows, video games, comics, all our Onimusha content, which is the other 4 PS2 games. You will see a link in the show notes if you haven't heard those and you check this out randomly. Check those out too. If you want to support the show, we do a Patreon with a dark vote in our Patreon poll. We have 1 to 2 episodes, or 1 to 2 polls a month. You get to vote and affect the show. If you want to be a part of the show, we have a Discord. You're on Discord. It's free. I ask for openings on the show for there. I take suggestions, so great way to affect the show. And while you're shot my awesome intro and outro, courtesy of Elena at Hell Has Fairy. Follow her on TikTok and Instagram. And check out A Gamer Looks at 40 with Bill Tucker. And also check out Absolutely the Best Podcast, A Work in Progress. They talk about the MCU movies and MCU adjacent movies. And rate and reviews wherever you get your podcast, and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube. I think that's everything I need to say, so we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.